Nietzsche once said that most people don't lack confidence. They lack the courage to face their own weakness. And that's the brutal truth no one wants to hear. Today, everyone talks about confidence. You see it everywhere, in self-help books, motivational videos, and Instagram quotes telling you to believe in yourself. But if you look closer, most people are faking it. They speak louder, act tougher, post stronger, but inside, they're fragile. One rejection, one failure, and it all collapses. Nietzsche would call this an illusion, a mask we wear to hide how scared we are of our own weakness. But what if your insecurity isn't something to hate? What if it's actually the first step toward real, unshakable confidence? Because Nietzsche's version of confidence isn't about arrogance or pretending to be fearless. It's about something far deeper, a mindset that grows stronger every time life tests you. This isn't about being perfect. It's about becoming powerful, from the inside out. So in this video, we're going to explore Nietzsche's brutal but liberating path to real confidence. How to stop seeking validation, how to face your darkness, and how to build a kind of strength that can't be broken by failure or fear. Let's go back to a man who refused to be ordinary, Friedrich Nietzsche, and uncover the mindset that made him unbreakable. Friedrich Nietzsche wasn't the kind of philosopher who sat comfortably in classrooms, sipping tea and debating ideas. He was a man who lived through pain, physically, mentally, and emotionally, and still refused to break. He spent most of his life alone, battling illness that left him half-blind and in constant pain. He faced rejection from the academic world, betrayal from friends, and heartbreak from the woman he loved. And yet, from that suffering, he forged one of the most powerful mindsets in human history. Nietzsche didn't talk about confidence. He embodied it. Not the fake kind built on applause or success, but the kind that grows when no one's watching. He called it self-overcoming, the process of transforming pain into power, weakness into wisdom. That's what made Nietzsche different. While most people run from discomfort, he walked straight into it, believing that the path to greatness is carved through struggle. And that's why his ideas matter more today than ever. Because in a world obsessed with appearances, Nietzsche's philosophy reminds us that real confidence isn't about how you look, talk, or perform. It's about mastering yourself when everything else falls apart. So before we talk about building confidence, we have to confront one uncomfortable truth. Most of what society teaches you about confidence is a complete illusion. Nietzsche saw it clearly more than a century ago. And once you see it too, you'll never look at yourself, or the world, the same way again. Let's break that illusion. We live in an age where confidence has become a performance. The louder you speak, the more followers you have, the more successful you look, the more confident people think you are. But Nietzsche would have called this slave morality, the mindset of people who base their worth on how others see them. It's the kind of confidence that only exists when the crowd is clapping. The moment the applause stops, the illusion collapses. Think about it. How many people seem confident on social media but panic the second they're alone with their thoughts? How many chase validation through likes, status, or relationships just to feel good enough for a moment? That isn't strength. That's dependency disguised as power. Nietzsche believed that real confidence can never come from approval, because approval chains you to the opinions of others. You become a puppet, constantly adjusting your words, your looks, even your beliefs, to be accepted. And when you do that, you lose the very thing confidence depends on: self-respect. He would say that most people don't have low confidence. They have misplaced confidence. They're confident only when others agree with them, when things go their way, or when they feel admired. But the second life hits hard, when rejection, criticism, or failure show up, that confidence disappears. Nietzsche's view was brutal, but liberating. If your sense of worth can be taken from you, it was never truly yours to begin with. So if external approval isn't real confidence, what is? Nietzsche's answer lies in one radical idea: the will to power, the force that turns ordinary people into unstoppable ones. Nietzsche believed that deep inside every human being there's a force, a raw, restless energy, constantly pushing us to grow, to rise, to expand. He called it the will to power. Most people misunderstand this phrase. They think it's about control, dominance, or manipulation. But Nietzsche wasn't talking about ruling others. He was talking about ruling yourself. The will to power is the inner drive that refuses to stay small. It's that quiet voice that says, I can become more than I am right now. Every time you face a fear, every time you push through pain, every time you choose growth over comfort, that's your will to power in action. True confidence, Nietzsche would say, is simply the natural expression of that inner power. It's not something you learn or fake. It's something you uncover. He believed that every challenge in life, every setback, rejection, and humiliation is a test designed to awaken this power within you. That's why he wrote, "What does not kill me makes me stronger." He didn't mean that suffering automatically makes you stronger. He meant that suffering offers you the chance to become stronger, if you face it consciously. When you face a fear, you're proving that your inner will is stronger than your anxiety. When you keep moving after failure, you're proving that your will is stronger than your ego. When you choose honesty over comfort, discipline over laziness, purpose over pleasure, you're mastering yourself. That's the essence of Nietzschean confidence. Not pretending to be fearless, but being willing to face what scares you. Because every act of courage, no matter how small, feeds your will to power, and every act of avoidance weakens it. So the real question isn't how can I feel confident? It's where in my life am I still running from myself? Nietzsche believed that the path to confidence always runs through your fears, and the only way out is through. But that journey starts with confronting something even deeper. The part of yourself you spend your whole life trying to avoid. Every person carries a shadow, the parts of themselves they'd rather not see. Nietzsche called it the ugly truth within, our envy, fear, resentment, and hidden desires. Most people deny it. They build a perfect mask, polite, agreeable, humble, while secretly terrified of being exposed as weak or unworthy. But Nietzsche saw this denial as the true cause of low confidence. Because when you reject parts of yourself, you lose your wholeness. And when you lose your wholeness, you lose your power. Think about it. You can't stand tall if half of you is buried in shame. You can't be unshakable if you're constantly at war with yourself. Nietzsche urged us to stop running from our darkness, and instead, to integrate it. To look it in the eye and say, yes, this is me too. That doesn't mean celebrating weakness. It means transforming it. If you're envious, use that envy to see what you truly desire. If you're insecure, let that insecurity push you to grow stronger. If you feel powerless, realize that every strong person once felt exactly the same, but refused to stay there. Nietzsche believed that confidence isn't the absence of weakness. It's the acceptance and transformation of it. He said, one must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star. That chaos, your fear, pain, and confusion, is the raw material from which your power is born. Real confidence isn't calm perfection. It's the fire that comes from knowing, I've faced my demons, I've survived my worst days, and nothing outside of me can shake what I've built inside. It's not arrogance, it's not ego, it's integrity. A deep inner unity, where your light and shadow no longer fight but work together. And once that happens, you stop seeking permission to exist. You no longer need people to approve of you, to agree with you, or to praise you, because you're no longer performing. You're simply being. This is what Nietzsche meant by becoming who you are, not copying anyone else, not fitting into a role, but uncovering the full, unapologetic truth of your being and standing on it. That's what unshakable confidence really is. Nietzsche's entire philosophy can be summed up in one challenge: become who you are. It sounds simple, almost too simple, but behind those 4 words lies a revolution of the soul. Because most people never truly become who they are. They become what the world wants them to be. From childhood, you're told what's good, what's safe, what's acceptable. You learn to suppress your curiosity, your opinions, even your ambitions, all to fit in. Society gives you a script, and you spend your life performing it. But Nietzsche believed that real confidence can never exist inside a script written by someone else. You can't stand tall if your life is borrowed. To become who you are means to question everything you've inherited, your beliefs, your values, your fears, your definition of success. Ask yourself, do I believe this because it's true for me or because it's comfortable for others? Do I work this job because I love it or because I'm afraid of disappointing someone? Do I speak this way, dress this way, live this way because it's my choice or my conditioning? Nietzsche said that only those who break away from the herd can find their true strength. He wrote, "The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. That struggle, that painful detachment, is what transforms you. You stop measuring your worth by comparison. You stop chasing approval. You stop begging for validation. And instead you begin to create your own values, your own compass. You start to live from the inside out rather than the outside in. That's when confidence stops being an act and becomes an identity. Because when you know who you are, when you faced your chaos, embraced your truth and stopped hiding, you become unshakable. Criticism can't touch you because you no longer build your house on others' opinions. Failure doesn't destroy you because your worth isn't tied to results. Rejection doesn't define you because you've already accepted yourself. That's the freedom Nietzsche wanted for every human being, not a fragile ego built on external success, but a deep-rooted self built on truth, courage, and individuality. And that's how you build unshakable confidence, not by pretending to be strong, but by becoming strong through the fire of self-honesty and growth. Let's be honest, confidence isn't something you wake up with one morning. It's not a switch you flip or a skill you master in 10 easy steps. It's something you build, brick by brick, every time you choose truth over comfort, courage over fear, authenticity over approval. Nietzsche didn't want people to chase confidence the way modern culture sells it, with affirmations, fake smiles, and surface-level motivation. He wanted us to dig deeper, to realize that real confidence begins when everything else is stripped away, your status, your followers, your achievements, and you're left alone with the question, who am I, when no one's watching? That's where it begins. When you can look in the mirror, flaws, fears, failures, and all, and still say, I'm becoming someone stronger. Confidence isn't about never doubting yourself. It's about moving despite the doubt. It's not about never falling. It's about refusing to stay down. And Nietzsche believed that every human being is capable of that transformation, not by escaping their struggles, but by using them. Your pain isn't proof of weakness. It's the raw material of power. Your fears aren't your enemies. They're your teachers. And your failures? They're not walls. They're weights that make you stronger if you lift them. So maybe the real question isn't, how do I become confident? Maybe it's, am I brave enough to face the parts of myself that keep me from it? Because the moment you stop running, the moment you stand your ground and meet life head-on, you stop being a victim of circumstances and you start becoming the creator of your character. That's Nietzsche's vision of unshakable confidence. Not loud, not flashy, not dependent, but quiet, rooted, fearless in truth. It's the kind of confidence that no one can give you and no one can take away. Before you click away, pause for a moment. Ask yourself honestly, what part of you are you still afraid to face? Because that's where your confidence is hiding, not in pretending to be fearless, but in walking straight into what terrifies you. Nietzsche once wrote, "The man who has a why to live can bear almost any how." So find your why. Find the reason that makes you get up, even when you feel small, even when no one believes in you. Confidence isn't built by waiting for the world to notice you. It's built by deciding, today, that you're done seeking permission to exist. So, I'll leave you with this challenge. This week, do one thing that scares you. Say what you really think. Take the first step towards something you've been putting off. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be honest. Because every time you face fear, every time you choose truth, you're becoming the person Nietzsche believed you could be, someone unshakable. Now tell me in the comments, what fear are you going to face this week? What truth about yourself are you ready to stop running from? If you found something real in this video, something that stirred something inside you, hit subscribe and stay with me, because next time, we're diving even deeper into the kind of mindset that makes you unstoppable. Not by avoiding pain, but by transforming it into power. Until then, don't seek confidence, become it.